Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hollywoodbets Durban July Gallop preview, exclusive preview with Anton Marcus, an interview with a five-time winning jockey of this particular race, a race that has certainly stood the test of time, where we get 40, 50,000 people every single year, and it turns out to be such a terrific day at the races. With particular reference, of course, to the Pick Six, which they're hoping to get to 20 million, and in the July itself, a 12 million rand quartet. Now, to help us with some of that, Anton Marcus is on the line, and it's wonderful to have you with us again, Anton. Welcome.
Clyde, thank you very much, and thank you for having me on the show to discuss this iconic race that stops a nation.
Absolutely, and who knows it better than yourself? We're going to have a quick look, Anton, at a snapshot of the field, which producer Ricky will put up for you now. You guys can have a quick look. I'm sure by now everybody knows exactly who's running, but that ultimately is what tells the story of the greatest race of the year. Anton and I had a discussion. We said, let's show the top 10 in the betting in terms of Betway structure. And these top 10 gallops that we are going to show you are in saddlecloth number. And we're going to start with number 1, Royal Victory, who's a multiple Group 1 winner. Here's a look at what he did out at Hollywoodbets Gravel the other day. He's on the right-hand side of the screen. He's got Muzieni in the saddle. Of course, he's trained by Nathan Kotson. And he stretched out well. Came across for me as what appeared to be a very good gallop. Anton, I know you watched the gallops. Just your view on what you thought, and where do you put this horse in the race?
Clyde, he's coming off 2 Group 1 victories, so you have to have healthy respect for him. You can see they wanted to put a fair amount of work into him, so he was pushed out the final 400. So, healthy respect.
Healthy respect for Anton in terms of Royal Victory. That's the case with regards to horse number 1, who has undoubtedly got a chance. Number 2, Barbaresco, is the next horse we're going to have a look at. Now, this guy has come into the race with a bottom weight, of which Gavin Larena obviously has to get down to 53.5. We're doing this recording a week before. Gavin's around 54.5, so he's done really well. And I believe Barbaresco has been putting up superb work at home. And this particular gallop, he's just taking it easy, and he's a lovely mover. I would imagine, Anton, in your case, knowing what Gavin's got to go through to get to 53.5 can't be easy.
Clyde, never easy, but you have to respect the fact that he's prepared to get down to the 53.5. But within saying that, there's only one Hollywoodbets Durban July. Clyde, the most important thing with this horse is that he settles. It's imperative that he drops his head. I've got a slight question mark about the distance, within saying that milers have been known to win the July, but he's certainly going to get all the favours from the 2 Marble.
That's right. He does have a good draw, as Anton alluded to, drawn at 2. Will he stay the 2,200 metres, Barbaresco? We'll see what happens on the big day. The next one, of course, is Future Swing that we're going to look at. Very interesting Future Swing coming into the race, and there's been a bit of market support for this guy. And our champion jockey, Richard Fourie, was quite adamant in that this is the horse he wants to ride for the Justin Snade stable. Here he is moving out at the last 100 metres. Lovely look up, nice action on him, travels well. And it's interesting. I mean, Richard Fourie himself, what a marvellous or outstanding achievement this season, Anton.
You have to take your hats off to Richard. He's done the hard yards, and he deserves everything that he gets, Clyde. Obviously, in terms of the betting, you've got to factor in the Fourie factor. He moved very well in the gallop. Can't take anything away from him. But, he's held by Oriental Charm. He's one of the chief protagonists, as well as Master Udutum without a question as well. So he certainly won't be in my top 4, but can't take anything away from his gallop.
And I think the key in what you just said there is that the champion jockey, Richard Fourie, is riding him. So that's number 4, Future Swing. Now for the favourite, number 5, Green with Envy, for Dean Kannemeyer and Craig Zaki. A very interesting horse, this. Of course, I'll discuss with Anton in a moment about his latest victory, where he seemed to drift across the track and he got sort of caught up with Flagman, but he moves very well. They interviewed Craig Zaki, Anton, after this interview, and he was just so impressed with this horse. He seemed to be elated after the gallop.
Clyde, I feel that he deserves his position at the top of the betting boards. You don't win a derby the guineas and the daily news unless you're way, way above average, you know. I felt it was very uncharacteristic of him to hang last time, but for that, he probably wins easily, you know. So as far as I'm concerned, he's certainly the best 3-year-old of the current crop over ground.
Anton, I'd like just to touch on agreeing with Envy for a moment about the tactics in terms of where he may have to come from. And I suppose some are concerned that if he's dropped out like we normally see and he's got to come from the back of the field, would that be a concern for you?
It would be a serious area of concern, Clyde, and I'm pretty certain I'll have him a lot closer to the pace this time, as opposed to just coming out and leaving him alone.
Okay, well, he's got a good draw 5. Let's hope that is going to be the case with the favourite. Now here's an interesting one, 8 Purple Pitcher. He's got a lot of gallant. There's something about him. He's got a lot of guts, this horse. And here's a look at him striding out the Turpentine, the home gallop. There's something about this horse, Anton. I've called him a few times. And, you know, when you see him, you're sort of, they're going to collar you. But they just, when he goes to the front, he won't let them pass him.
Clyde, you know, you have to forgive a good horse one bad run. So possibly put a line through that run. And he certainly isn't one to be taken lightly, you know. Slight area of concern as well would be Gravel. I see he takes a while to get going, despite the fact that he races up there. And he'll take quite a tactical ride. Won't be in my top 4, but I think Robin Clausen has done a tremendous job with him and certainly deserves his place in this field.
Certainly does. That's number 8. Purple Pitcher. Watch out for him. Will he get to the front? Will he lead? We've got to wait and see what happens on the big day. Number 9, Winchester Mansion, of course, the winner of the Hollywoodbets Durban July last year. Most people know that he came in well handicapped into the race. Obviously, there were conditions prior to his run where handicappers couldn't penalise him the full penalty. But at the end of the day, he won a great race. He beat Seed again. Here's his gallop at Rheinkiesfontein. He's a lovely mover. They did speak to James Crawford about him. James says he's in a great space. They're quite bullish about him again this year. And Cabela Mazzaniani rides him again. He just does seem to be one of those horses that's got loads of ability, Anton.
Clyde, I thought he put up a tremendous gallop. There won't be much between him and Royal Victory, but also I feel that Brett and James have prepped him very, very well. And he's certainly one of my top 4, once again.
Yeah, there you go. Winchester Mansion, last year's winner, does certainly form part of Anton Marcus' top 4. It's going to be a great race. Number 10, See It Again. Now, let's talk about Michael Roberts' horse, Drew 10. Apparently, Michael asked Pierre, where do you want to jump? And he says, gate 10. And Michael Roberts drew gate 10. But this is an interesting gallop because he got a bit lazy at the end. They asked Striker after this gallop. He said, yeah, I had to ride him out and push him out. He got a little bit lazy. Is that unusual, Anton, or not?
Clyde, nothing unusual at all. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with his gallop at all, you know. He's proven to be the top-rated horse in the country, and he'll certainly be there when the chips are down.
See It Again, a massive runner when it comes to this year's Hollywoodbets Durban July. Now, another horse that likes to go up there is number 11, Oriental Charm, for Brett and James Crawford, and in this case, JP van der Merwe, of course, is riding. Here's a look at Oriental Charm, who was galloped out at Rheinkiesfontein. He comes into the race pretty well weighted with the opposing runners, certainly from his last couple of races. Yes, it's a stronger field, etc. We understand that at the end of the day. But he's an interesting candidate. I was speaking to Daryl Marie, Anton, and he's sort of made him the horse to beat.
Clyde, you know, it's no easy feat for a 3-year-old to have won his last race with top weights. He's on the up. He's certainly an improver. And it'll be interesting to see who goes out there and makes the pace between him and, in all probability, Purple Picture. But yeah. He's on the improve, and he's certainly going to give you a good shot for your money.
Does he make your top 4, Anton, or not?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Okay, well, there you go. So Oriental Charm right up there in this year's big race. Number 17, Flagman. Now, this is an interesting one for Gareth Van Zyl, and Serena Moodley's riding this. Here's the gallop of Flagman. We watched it at Hollywoodbets Gravel, with 240 covered it live, and Graham Hawkins had Anthony Delpeche and Kevin Shea, and they also both made this horse the gallop they thought was the best gallop of the morning. What did you think, Anton?
I'd probably have to agree with him, but you've got to understand he's a young horse. He's only raced 6 times. He's precocious. He's there to mark his territory, and but for the draw, he would have made my top 4. But he's going to need the rub of the green from 17. It's not going to be easy, and because of the barriers, I don't see him finishing in front of Green with Envy.
Despite the fact that he's a half a kilo better off, but I understand. And the draw's a big worry in a case like that. And so from that sort of draw, what happens? You just drop him out, or what's the case?
Not at all. You base it on your jump.
Okay.
You don't go into the race with any preconceived idea. You see how you just play the hand that you've been dealt on the jump, Clyde.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what Serena Moodley does. But the horse has got a serious claim. There's a lot of market support for number 17, Flagman. And 18, Future Pearl, makes up the top 10 in Betway's betting column. This is the Sean Terry runner, and Grant van Niekerk has got the ride on this horse. It does draw 18. Future Pearl, who puts up the gallop, is in the Beck colours, the brown and white colours. Future Pearl, an imposing horse, good looker, good strider, moves well. And I guess Anton is a good stayer, isn't he?
Clyde, nothing wrong with his gallop, but I would keep my gunpowder dry for the Gold Cup.
Okay, that's short and sweet, but to the point about number 18, Future Pearl. Anton, now to ask you the key question about the Hollywoodbets Durban July this year. What ultimately makes up your top 4?
Clive, a very tentative summation, and not necessarily in order, but I would say Green with Envy, See It Again, Winchester Mansion, and Oriental Charm.
Okay, that's how we got a quartet to take. A 12 million rand pool. Those are Anton Marcus's, not in that particular order, but the top 4, which does seem like, from a form perspective and a betting perspective, the way things may well end up in this year's race. Anton Marcus, 5-time winner of the Hollywoodbets Durban July. Thank you so much for your time. I got to tell you, we miss you a lot, Anton.
Clive, I miss everybody as well, and thank you so much for having me on the show. It was a privilege.
What a pleasure. Thank you. Anton Marcus. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you at the July.